we're actually talking about photos today. So photo documentation on Encircle. We're going to go processes for taking room photos. And I know that everybody does it a little bit different. We'll talk about a couple of, guidelines, kind of best practices. And this is going to be a video. The demo has already been done on this job and the equipment has been set up, right? So we would, of course, recommend that in your Encircle, you go ahead and do that initial inspection walkthrough and then the initial equipment setup video. And we put those under the exterior room just because it's easy to find and also because it includes content from the whole house, not a specific room. But we're going to go through specific photos for a room once the demo has been done and the equipment has been set up. So we're going to watch this video. I might pause it a couple times, but I would really like to talk about it afterwards, what your guys' thoughts are on this specific process. Okay, here we go.
We are... Okay. Hey everybody, we are here wanting to do a quick little video about photos. Okay, so I'm on Encircle, and again, this is just my fake house, but we're going to do it here at this job.
Okay, so real quick, right here where you see exterior, where you take a picture of the exterior house, that's where we would have done the initial walkthrough photo and also the initial equipment setup. We put it in that exterior. And then what I recommend is as soon as you're ready to start putting information in for each room, that you make each room. So here you have hallway, bedroom. I think Greg has a bathroom right here. But I think it's really important that you set up, do your add room and name each area that you have. That way it's there. If you start taking your photos and you get pulled off the job, if somebody else comes up, they're like, okay, I can see that he's already done the hallway, but I need to make sure I document for this bathroom and the bedroom that we don't have any photos for yet, right? But I like that as setup that you go ahead and add your room for each of the rooms that you have, and then you start adding your photos. Okay, here we go.
So let's just say I wanted to do, this is my bedroom, master bedroom, just example. I'm going to click over here on the photos. Okay, and then what we're wanting to do is come to the corner. Okay, and basically, remember, we're already going to have a docu-sketch in there, but we're going to do a photo of 1, 2, 3, and then ceiling 4, and then the floor 5, so she can see everything. Then we're going to come over to this other corner. Okay, we're just going to basically go to the opposite corner, and we're going to do the same thing, and just do left, right. Elijah, he's going to be in the lobby. Okay, and then right here. We've got the closet, which we're not going to be able to get everything, so just do the same thing. Okay, this is in the closet. Get the floor one so you can see everything there. Kind of like the ceiling or the wall. And then up here, we're going to have the source and the ceiling so they can see where the demo was. And we're going to come over here, do the same thing. And photo. 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 And then we're just going to click done, and we'll come back over here so you can see on my Encircle really quickly. Here we go, we've got 15 photos. Oops, we got 15 photos. Now, I'm really shaky, I'm doing it really quick. Let's see how she can basically see each side of the room from both corners. And then also inside the closet. Okay.
And
go ahead.
And one other thing that you should be doing, you should be taking pictures of all the equipment too.
So let's just do that really quick. So if I want to just get a room full of the equipment, I go back to my photos. I can do a kind of a view here. And okay, they can see all my equipment. And then if I need to, just in case, if she couldn't see all of that equipment, I'm gonna give her one more. Now, while we're talking about this, let's talk about a less effective photo. So this is what we see a lot, is we see something like, hang on. Let's go back to this bedroom. Photos. So what we see a lot of times is something like this. So it's up close, but we can't tell what room that's in. We can't tell what wall that's by. We really can't tell anything. So we need to step back and get more of those panoramic pictures of the room. So hopefully that's helped with you guys to get your photos done in a room setting. Now, I know you're gonna do photos before you start the work, during some demo photos, and then when all the equipment's done, and then when you're finished. But that gives you an idea of how we want you to scan from two corners of the room, getting each side all the way, the bottom and the top. Hopefully that helps. Thanks, guys.
A lot of times I'm asked to make sure I get pictures of the equipment up close with the numbers on them so they know which ones are where.
Okay. So, and that would be, your company specific. So you want to go off of those guidelines. If people are keeping track of, the inventory number of the equipment, so they know where it is, then they're going to want to get you those photos. Absolutely. Absolutely. From a estimator standpoint, to be able to write the estimate appropriately, and then also for the adjuster to see where it's placed, then go through that standard. I was at an organization a couple of weeks ago, and instead of doing the two corners, right, and then the three views, the left, center, right, and then ceiling and floor, they took a photo from all four corners. So I've seen that method done as well. I think it gets a little bit more confusing to do it from all four corners, but some people prefer that. But you're always safe with the two opposing corners, and then kind of the left, center, right, and then the ceiling and the floor. You'll be safe. You'll be safe with that. And then the equipment photos, if you're doing them for company purposes, so they know what equipment is placed where, and they have, a good idea of where their inventory of equipment is, great. But for whoever's writing your estimates, and then also for the adjuster, one important thing I always like to think of is, does this photo have context? Right. So like with that air mover, where they took that photo right up close with that air mover, it doesn't have any context for me. Right. So I'm not necessarily sure how it's being used. I don't see where it's placed in the room, anything like that. So if we can back up and take a full picture of where all the equipment is placed in the room, it serves a couple of different purposes. Number one, when we go to write that estimate, we can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 air movers, 1 DHU, 1 E-test, right? Easy to put on there. The other thing is, if other people in the organization are looking at these pictures, your project manager is looking at them, another technician is looking at them, right? They can maybe make some recommendations. You're out there on day 3, you're doing your monitoring, and you're taking your readings, and you're like, hey, this wall was wet 3 feet up at 98%. 2 days ago, and right now it's still wet 3 feet up, at 97%. They can get in there, look at your room photos, see where all your equipment is placed, and make some suggestions or recommendations without being on site. So it's also a really helpful tool for that as well.
Usually the new feature with the newer iPhones is that they have a wide angle lens, so they can take a lot more pictures, or not more pictures, I should say, just wider angle pictures, so it gets a lot more in the photo.
Oh, nice. Now, are you using Encircle on your phone and just taking them in Encircle, or are you doing it a different way?
Usually I take them using my camera lens, and then I just import them to Encircle.
Okay, so just a real quick review here. just take a photo. We talked about opposing corners, the 3 views, the left, right, center, then ceiling and floor, right? Include photos with all of the equipment. And then whenever possible, make sure you're taking photos with context. So you'd have a photo of your equipment in context in the room, as opposed to an up close photo, of an axial air mover that could have been at any job site anywhere. And there's no context to say how it's being used in the room or what room it's being used in.